Hi everyone, John here. Before I start, I just wanted to say excuse myself for my hair, as I always say. It's starting to look a little bit like a mop now. I think I've said that before too, but can't get to a hairdresser. So they're still in lockdown, as Melbourne's still in lockdown. So, and I excuse myself for not shaving. I was going to do a video later in the week, and I normally shave later in the week. I don't worry about it too much. I only shave about once a week, really, twice maybe. But look, I will talk about the argument between the federal governments a little bit later. But firstly, of course, there's a little bit of good news with the cases that have come down, and I think today was about 51 or something, and they want to get down to between 25 and 30 and have an average of below that, an average of 14 days, and have an average of 25 or 30 or something over a 14-day period. So I think we've still got a little bit to go, but nevertheless, we're getting there. So it's good that the numbers are down. I think there still was about seven deaths today as well. So it really has hit the nursing homes, and it still is. So it just seems like once it's got to the nursing homes, it's just I feel so sorry for them. It's like I've said before, that everyone's got daughters and sons and grandchildren and so forth. So yeah, it's a little bit hard. What I wanted to do first was talk about a radio station in Melbourne, and I was a little bit annoyed. This radio station, which I think I've spoken about before, actually talks about the fact that we're all in this together and so forth, which I've said before as well. But they have their own little hidden agendas and all the rest, and they're just trying to promote the show and all that sort of stuff. And they're having questions to Daniel Andrews, and I think an ex-footballer that they have on there, which, no disrespect to him, but and I like these guys on this station as well, but I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong in the fact that he went and asked a direct question, but he sort of asked it in an indirect way. But what he was really saying was that everyone else around the world is got all these different ideas and all the rest. All these medical people have got these different ideas, and so why didn't he go with those approaches and so forth? Or I thought it was a little bit rude and all the rest, considering that he's a Melbourne person, just like me, just like Daniel Andrews. And the other thing is that his offsider, of course, sort of praised him and saying, well, there's a lot of other journalists and all the rest around that aren't asking these questions, so he really patted him on the back or something. I think that's really wrong. This is the same station as well that's saying that we're all in this together, and also they're interviewing just about everyone that they can, from the Prime Minister to the Federal Finance Minister to the other medical people as well, other medical professionals. Instead of asking the same questions to Daniel Andrews' medical staff, because that's who's trying to help us. So we don't want to. I don't really like the fact that they have interviews just to promote their radio station, and they think it's great journalism to just try and get these people on board and think that they're interviewing everybody and just think that that's the right way to go. Well, it's the wrong way to go. It doesn't do any good to the people that are listening to the radio station. It doesn't do anything great for the Melburnians, anyone in Victoria, and especially Daniel Andrews. And of course, if the medical team from Daniel Andrews from Victoria is listening to this radio station, they'd be appalled with what gets said. So, and the other thing that annoys me as well is that when they're saying that we're all in this together and everything, they just started talking about the fact that everyone, all the footballers, because it's an AFL station, all the footballers are up there in their little bubble, in their hub, or whatever you want to call it. And they're all having a great time now because all of the wives and all the rest and the children was without their husbands for 3 months or something like that while they're up there, or something like that, or 6 weeks or something. While everyone else in Victoria is still without everyone. And they're still without, excuse me, got an itchy eye, but they're still without seeing their mum and dads or their grandparents or whatever that are in nursing homes. And of course the people that are in nursing homes, they can't see their grandchildren or their children. So, and even myself can't see my children. So, and even one of them that works on the radio station is up there as well. So what does that tell you? So they all have their own hidden agendas, and they all pat each other on the back, and they think that everything is okay, and they say that we're all in this together. Well, we're not all in this together. When you're going to praise yourselves for what you're doing, and telling it, and then getting callers to come into your radio station and say, well, yeah, that's really sad, and that's terrible, and that's this, and that's that, and things will get better, and all this sort of stuff and everything. But they're off to Queensland, and they're making sure that what they love is happening, when everything that we want to happen ourselves, see our family, see, or some people that can't work as well, they're still doing their jobs, they're still doing what they want to do. They think it's okay, and then they try and make an excuse about the fact that they say, oh, well, you know, it's not really their fault that, you know, they're able to do what they can do and some people can't. You know, it's just the way it is. And eventually everyone will be able to do what they want to do. So they just give themselves excuse after excuse, which is really annoying. But anyway, I don't really want to talk about them too much. They're a bit annoying this week, but don't get me wrong, they're okay people, but just how they've gone about this, and how they think everything is okay in what they do is not okay. I don't think it is anyway. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about as well was a lot of fighting and all the rest going on with the state premiers, especially with New South Wales and Queensland, and from the federal government, the Prime Minister, to especially New South Wales Premier, have had lots of conversations, lots of phone calls and all the rest for Queensland to be a little bit more passionate, the Queensland Premier to be a little bit more passionate, have a little bit of a heart and open the borders, and because we all know about the pregnant lady that had twins and lost one of her twins, and the Queensland Premier went on to the media, onto television, and saying that we've got exemptions for these people, and we're more than happy to let these people come in for any medical reasons. Well, then they interviewed the couple where their child, one of their twins, passed away. Well, that didn't happen. So she just gets her back up. She just thinks people are having a go at her. She only looks after Queensland. I think the Prime Minister and New South Wales are indirectly saying that as well. But of course they're in politics. They have to make sure that they maintain, you know, a good overall picture of themselves, and so I understand that. But just today on television as well, there was a family that wanted to go and see their dying dad, and it took a while before they got an exemption. And one of the daughters was on TV that's in a hotel and has to stay there, can't go and see her dad, and they won't let her see her dad, because they're saying that now there's a funeral and your exemption wasn't for a funeral. While your dad was dying, that was your reason for going there, but now that there's a funeral, your exemption isn't for a funeral. So I think there was a message out today where Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, was saying that an indirect way, again, as politely as he could say, but you knew what he was trying to say, that, you know, could the Queensland Premier please have a heart? There is a way around this. Have some compassion. But to no avail. So I think there was even a retired medical officer as well was saying that he believes that as far as the federal government and all the rest is arguing against Daniel Andrews in so many ways, against their medical team, against whatever Daniel Andrews says, whatever he stands for, that it doesn't do any good. And that's what I've been saying in my videos for the last couple of weeks. It doesn't help any Melburnians, any Victorians, it doesn't help Daniel Andrews, and it's an insult to the medical staff. So the same as when I was saying about the radio station, when they were interviewing everybody else, medical people, every other politician, except interviewing Daniel Andrews. They only interviewed him once, I think, and they weren't very kind to him. And also, it undermines his medical staff as well. So if they're listening to the station, it's just a terrible insult to them. So I feel really bad for them. But yeah, so I just wish that the arguments between the federal government, which is now like the health minister as well for the federal government, and the financial minister and the prime minister, please, if you could just leave Daniel Andrews alone, let him do his job. He fronts up to the media every single day. It's a difficult job. And the retired medical officer, chief officer I think he was saying that the way that it was in other states, when they're saying that maybe we could learn from them, well, maybe we could learn some things from them, but not all. I don't think, because what he was saying was that a lot of theirs was a massive debacle with the Ruby Princess, and they were very, 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 very lucky because there was thousands of people, and that was all linked to a cluster which they could find out. Which with us, it's in the community, so we have to make sure that we get the numbers down. But anyway, thank you very much, and please subscribe to my channel. And everyone out there, stay safe and try and stay happy and stay strong. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.